The system will require 2 plug-in connections, 1 wire-to-wire connection with an optional parking light and horn connection. We're going to remove the 2 Phillips / 7mm screws from the underside of the dash. We're going to remove the lower dash cover. We're going to pull out on the bottom, and then we're going to wiggle it and push upward. We're going to locate the ignition switch plug. We're going to press the release clip and pull back on the plug and remove it from the ignition switch. We're now going to plug our T-harness plug into the ignition switch, making sure it clicks and locks in. We're going to now plug the harness that we removed from the ignition switch into our T-harness, making sure it locks. We need to obtain a signal from our CAN high and our CAN low wires on the vehicle. There's 3 different ways to do this. First, there's traditional wire-to-wire connections. If you click on the information icon on your video screen, I have links to our legacy videos where you can view these connections and how they're made. Second would be with a diagnostic plug T-harness. So I'm going to show you how to use the diagnostic plug T-harness. The third way to get the CAN signal is with this CAN plug that plugs into the CAN bus junction underneath the dash. Now, this is used for the 18 and 19 more than the 13 through 17 because you can't get the CAN signal at the diagnostic plug on the 18 and 19. You must use this or traditional wire connections. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to use the diagnostic plug connector and the CAN bus junction plug. Release the diagnostic plug from its bracket by pushing in on the ears on both sides and sliding it backwards. With the vehicle's diagnostic plug removed from the bracket, plug the corresponding end of the diagnostic plug T-harness into the vehicle's diagnostic plug. Mount the remaining diagnostic plug T-harness in the vehicle's OEM diagnostic plug location. Snap the plug in. The CAN plug from the diagnostic harness will be routed to our device. This is the CAN bus junction plug. And this is the way it was on this vehicle. Sometimes they're mounted up on the side of the dash over here. But we're going to look for this CAN bus junction plug, and we're going to take our small white plug. We're going to find an empty spot on the green plug that has the white plugs plugged in. We're going to go ahead and we're going to plug our CAN plug into the empty spot on the CAN bus bar. So we have our CAN plug plugged into the open spot on the CAN bus junction. So we're going to make a traditional wire-to-wire ignition connection at the electronic trailer brake controller. So there's 2 scenarios, and the installation guide shows both scenarios. So it's always a pink wire with a green stripe, and it's always located at the corner pin. When you look at the plugs, you'll see you'll have 2 plugs like this. So we're going to try to locate the pink with the light green at the corner pin, and it will be one of these scenarios. It'll either be here if you have it on your 4-pin, which is more prevalent on the older, like the 13, 14 models, and then from a certain point they change it over to this one, and then when you get to the 18 and 19, it's always this one. So we're looking up under the dash. Here's the ignition switch. This is the electronic trailer brake controller on this vehicle. Sometimes the module's here, sometimes the module's not here, and the wires are just taped up in the back here. But the wires, the 2 plugs, are always located here next to the ignition switch. So if we look, we have the 4-pin, and we don't have any pink wires on our 4-pin. So we look at the other plug. And I see a pink wire right there, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove this plug from the electronic trailer brake controller. Now we're going to orientate ourselves just like the schematic. We're going to look at the plug from the back where the wires enter. Our pink wire with the green stripe is located right here at this corner pin. We've removed some of the protective tape so that we can make a good connection comfortably back here away from the plug. To make our one connection, we're going to use a supplied posi-tap connector. We're going to go ahead and we're going to unscrew the connector. We have a piece with a groove and a piece with a pin. We're going to place the piece with the groove on the wire, and then we're going to screw the piece with the needle back together here, the piece with the groove. The needle is going to pierce the wire, providing a connection point. We're now going to loosen the collar on the connector 1 to 1.5 turns so it can accept an incoming wire. We're going to connect our yellow ignition wire to our posi-tap connector. We're going to strip 1/8 to 1/4 inch of insulation off of the wire. Do not twist the wire, leave the strands straight. We're now going to insert the stripped end of the wire into the collar of the posi-tap. When we do this and we push down, you're going to feel the wire bottom out. You want to push it in a little deeper. You'll feel it go in deeper. Then you want to tighten the collar. This will lock the wire in the connector. You can give it a pull test to make sure it's secure. Plug the harness back into the electronic trailer brake controller if you have the controller. Just want to go over a couple things before we pair our module. When you purchase a WarmCarNow remote starting kit, the configuration level is higher than normal. For example, you take your harness out of the package, you're ready to plug it in and make your one connection. There's no extra wires that you have to figure out, what's this, what's that. You follow the video step by step and you will be successful. So another thing I want to touch on is everything we send out is flashed. So the device's flash is configured. It has a sticker that looks like this. We'll highlight things on the sticker, and then we'll make our programming match what we've highlighted on the sticker. So you can see that the device is flashed. So there's no need to reflash the device and erase the work that I've put into the kit before I shipped it, because that can take you away from success and bring you back a few steps, and then it becomes a little bit harder to straighten that out. So follow the video, use genuine WarmCarNow equipment, and you will be successful. So as previously stated, your module is all programmed. It's ready to go. So you shouldn't have put anything on the computer or done anything with your programmer yet. We're going to go ahead and get started pairing our module. To begin the pairing procedure, we're going to locate the program button on the top of our module. We're going to hold the program button while we insert the 4-pin plug. When we do this, there's 3 LED lights on the device. They're going to illuminate and they're going to cycle. We're going to want to release when we have a yellow light lit. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to hold the button, we're going to plug in. Lights will cycle, we'll release on yellow. If we release on any other color, we can unplug the device and repeat the procedure. Release on yellow. We're going to now plug in the remaining connectors. We want to be very conscious that we do not push the button again. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to plug in the 20 pin. We're going to plug in the red plug on our harness, and we're going to plug in the white plug that runs over from the can plug. Depending on whichever one we use, they all have this white plug. We're going to run this back to our device and plug it in the white port. Now we're going to press and release the program button 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our light's going to blink. We're going to wait for the light to turn on solid. We're going to have our key to the vehicle. When the light turns on solid, we're going to place the key in the ignition and turn the ignition to the run position. We're going to leave the key in the run position for a second. We're going to now shut the key off and remove it from the ignition. We're going to watch the instrument cluster, and we're going to make sure before we proceed that the dash lights or the instrument cluster illumination turns off. So we're going to wait for this to happen. The cluster lights have turned off. We're going to place the key in the ignition and turn the key to the run position. We're going to have our module program. When we have the flashing blue light, we're going to shut the key off and remove it from the ignition. Now the next step will determine how the device is going to react. So if you have an OEM remote, you're going to want to press the unlock button on the OEM remote at this point. If you do not have an OEM remote and say you're adding a keyless entry with our RF antenna kit and you don't have an OEM remote, you can push the button and release it to complete programming. Now, having said that, if you do that on a vehicle that has an OEM remote, it's not going to be able to activate from 3-lock. So if you have an OEM remote, you have to do this step. You're going to go ahead and you're going to push the unlock button. To complete the vehicle pairing process, we will use our Flashlink Programmer. The blue light flashing slowly is an indication the module is ready for the decryptor process. We're going to unplug the module. We're first going to unplug the red plug, the white plug, the 20-pin plug, and the 4-pin plug. So there's 3 different devices you can use to complete the module pairing process. Least expensive, limited uses. It's restricted to 8 total operations. An operation is flashing a module for a specific vehicle, running the decryptor. Changing options on the vehicle is not considered an operation, so it would be unlimited for that. But 8 operations, the installation should only require 1 operation if you do it correctly. The regular Flashlink costs a little more, can be used unlimited, can be used on the Evo All and the Evo 1. This is generally just for the Evo All. You can access half of the Evo 1 with this device, the Flashlink Lite. That's the name of this. This is a regular Flashlink. Both of these Flashlinks require a Windows 10 PC. Can't use it on a Mac, Windows 10 PC only. This is a Flashlink Mobile. 200 and change, kind of pricey, uses Android or iPhone to complete the module pairing process. These are the 3 devices that you can use to complete the vehicle pairing process. The first one we'll talk about is the Flashlink Lite. It's restricted to 8 total operations. 1 operation equals flashing the module to a specific vehicle. Another thing that would equal 1 operation is running the decryptor process. Changing options within the module, that does not count as an operation. So this is the least expensive, restricted to 8 operations. If you do everything right, you should only need 1 operation to complete the installation. This is the Flashlink 4. This has unlimited operations. You can use it on an Evo 1 and an Evo All. The Flashlink Lite is for the Evo All, or the bypass side of an Evo 1. Both of these units require a Windows 10 PC. So there's no other way, Windows 10 PC for these 2 options. This option, the third option, is the Flashlink Mobile. Costs a couple $100. It's in the 2s. You use the Android or the iPhone to complete the vehicle pairing process. We're going to complete this installation with the Flashlink 4. So I have other videos that will show you how to download the Flashlink Manager where you can obtain the program. So I'm going to just skim through this very quickly. Plus, my phone number, my cell number, is on every single device. So you can text me and you can ask me a question anytime. So this is an advantage of buying my products. You have access to technical support all the time. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. We're at Fortin's website, www.ifar.ca. We're on the Fortin website. I'm going to show you how to download the Flashlink Manager. You're going to go on their website. You're going to click the software tab. You're going to click the download right here. You're going to go ahead and you're going to download the Flashlink Manager. So this is the page for it. We're going to download it. I'm going to start the download. We'll agree to the end user license. And we're going to save the program. Now you're going to save it. You're going to follow the prompts when you open the program. It's going to install the Flashlink Manager. You're going to get to a point where you're going to be asked to fill out a questionnaire. It's going to ask you what website you're from. Any website will work. Don't get hung up on that. Just put www.WarmCarNow.com. Anything will work. So after you do that, you'll install the program, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when you open the program. Another pitfall is you won't be able to open the Flashlink Manager until you respond to an email that's sent to you by Fortin when you register for your free Flashlink account. After downloading the Flashlink Manager, go ahead and open it. You'll open the program and it'll ask you to agree to changes that are made on your computer. You'll do that. I already have it on my computer, so I'm not going to go any further. You follow the prompts. You'll have to register for a free account with Fortin. You'll do that. They'll send you a confirmation email that you will answer, and then once you answer the email, you'll be able to access the Flashlink Manager program. So we have the Flashlink Manager open. If you need a better video on how to obtain and set up your Flashlink account with Fortin, you can go ahead and you can text the tech support number on the module and you can request that we send you the video link for that. Now, we've opened the Flashlink Manager. We don't have any programmer plugged in. We're going to go ahead and we're going to plug in our Flashlink 4 programmer. And we're going to go ahead. We're going to wait. It's going to acknowledge that the programmer is connected, and now it's going to tell us that we need to have a module connected. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to connect the module that we've done the data sampling to. So we'll go ahead and we'll plug it in. See, now I use what's called Pro Mode. I requested that they take off Wizard Mode. When you load the program, you're going to come up into Wizard Mode. So we don't want Wizard Mode. What we want to do when we come up is we want to go to Pro Mode. So if you look in the upper part of your screen, you'll see an information icon. You can click on the information icon and it will show you how to go to Pro Mode. Our screen is loaded and you'll come up with a different screen. I only use Pro Mode in the shop. I do not use Wizard Mode, and that's what you'll come up with. You're going to click the settings icon right here, and you'll have an option right here. It'll say go to Pro Mode. First thing you want to do is you're going to click Go to Pro Mode. It's going to prompt you. You're going to agree that you want to go to Pro Mode. You're going to then have a screen that looks identical to mine. Until you do that, you're on the wrong path. So it's a necessary step. So now we're going to go over. We have our module loaded. Now don't worry about what's selected here. As long as it's a 13 through 17 RAM or an 18 or 19 Classic in this area right here, it'll work. You don't have to change the vehicle around. If you do that, then you're gonna go into different screens. So we've already flashed it. We know what you have. We know what you need on there. So we're gonna hit decryptor. It's gonna ask us if we want to transfer the key data here. We're gonna go ahead and we're going to click send data. Now our computer's connected to the internet, so it's going to send our data that we sampled from our first part of the pairing process to the Fortin servers, where that data will then be decrypted and loaded onto the module. Now this is the key code data for the vehicle, so that's why it needs to be done at the vehicle, and it needs to be done specifically for that vehicle. So we're going to wait. Sometimes this process takes a long time. I'm not going to cut the video. I'm just going to let it run. So this will be in real time how long it can take or how short it can take. So we'll see. Just want to touch my screen to keep this alive because it's on battery. Now I have other videos if you're using the Flashlink Mobile. I have a 2019 RAM video where I use the Flashlink Mobile. Now the decryptor process remains the same no matter what the vehicle is. The steps leading up to decryptor can be different, but the decryptor process is the same for any vehicle. So we're going, you know, sometimes, like I said, sometimes it's really quick and sometimes it takes a little bit. The main thing is that we're not being kicked out with the program saying that, you know, our sampling was incorrect. So that's a good thing that it's still running. Now we've been going a little bit here, a couple minutes. Gonna wait it out. So it's definitely absolutely normal if your decryption process goes this long. And we want to make sure, and by default, this box will be checked for it to update the module when it's completed automatically. So if that box isn't checked, then it's going to do the decryption process, and it's not going to load the module, and therefore the installation will not succeed. So I predict that this should wrap up in the next few seconds here. We'll see how good my prediction is. Whether I'll have to edit the video or not here and remove my prediction. There we go. Okay, so now the device is being updated. We just want to wait. We have our icon over here is changed. Module is going to get loaded, and then it's going to give us an indication that the process is complete, and we can return to the vehicle and plug the module in. So we're going to do just that. We're going to unplug the module from our programmer, and we're going to go to the vehicle. So we're back at our vehicle. We're just going to plug in the module. We're not going to hold the button or do anything. We're going to plug in the 4-pin plug first. We're going to plug in the red plug. We're going to plug in the white plug that we ran over to the CAN source. And then we're going to plug in our 20-pin plug. Now, we don't we will not have any of the LEDs lit. Nothing is lit, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to test our remote starter. We're going to activate remote starting of our vehicle using our 3-lock starting sequence. We're going to press lock 3 times with 3 clear, distinct presses with a little bit of time in between. 1, 2, 3. It'll take a few seconds. The vehicle will crank, start, and run for 30 minutes. We have not connected the parking lights. Our lights are in the auto position currently. We're going to go ahead and we're going to shut the engine off. If you have a diesel or you would like to change options within the module, we're back at the computer. We're going to change a few of the options within the module, just so you have an example if you have to activate the diesel delay for diesel vehicles. So we're back in, we've plugged the module in, we've made sure that we're in Pro mode. Crucial step, if your screen doesn't look like this, click the icon, select Go to Pro mode. So we're in Pro mode, we're going to turn the setting protections off. We're going to scroll down to the D1 option group. We're going to open the sub menu. We're going to look. If this was a diesel, we would turn on diesel mode. Now, if you have a 15-minute runtime selected, turning on diesel mode changes the runtime to 30 minutes. You'll see this. It'll be notated right here. We're going to go around. We're going to keep the lock activation method. Pretty much that's it. We're going to go back up, and we're going to turn the setting protections on, and we're going to click Save. We're going to verify that it was saved up in the corner. Option saved. Now we would go back to the vehicle and we would have a delay for our diesel starting. We're going to make our optional parking light connection. We're going to remove the side panel. We're going to pull out a little bit on the bottom of the dash, enough so we can get our plastic tool in between the side panel and the dash. And we're going to go ahead and pop the side panel off. Now we can reach in here and we have access to the light switch. We can push the light switch out or we can unplug the light switch. Let me go ahead and remove the light switch. Just going to push outward. We're going to remove the protective tape. Just peel it back a little bit so we have access and we can put our tap on comfortably. Our parking light wire is located at pin 1. It is the white wire with a brown trace. You can match it up to your installation schematic. We're going to use a posi tab to make our parking light connection. Again, we're going to repeat the procedure we used for the ignition connection. We're going to separate the posi tab, slip the piece with the groove over our target wire, screw the posi tab back together, route our parking light wire over to the switch opening, remove 1/4 of an inch of the insulation, loosen the collar of the posi tab, insert our incoming wire into the tab, push it in so it goes in, and tighten the collar. Give it a pull test. At this point, our basic 3-lock starting installation is complete. I'm going to show you the installation of the MyCar smartphone controller. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start by connecting our MyCar unit to our device. We're going to locate the wires banded to the neck of our harness. We're going to have a male connector that's similar to the 4-pin plug. We're going to go ahead and we're going to plug it into our MyCar input. This will power the MyCar, and it will immediately start looking for cellular and GPS signals. The red light is a GPS indicator. It'll indicate whether the signal is locked or not. The green light is a cellular indicator, and the green light will indicate whether it has a cellular signal or not. At first, they will flash while they're searching for signals. When they have locked on a signal, the lights will go solid. You're going to download the MyCar Controls app. After opening the app for the first time, you will be prompted to enter your device ID number located right here on your card. Once you do that, you will be prompted to accept their terms. You will do that. You will be asked to set a protocol. You're going to go ahead and click OK, and you're going to select the Fortin protocol. You're going to accept. You're going to click Done. It's going to ask you to enter a phone number. You don't have to. You can go ahead and you can X out of this screen. And you'll now be in test mode. This mode will last for approximately 4 hours. So when you do the protocol selection, the device must reboot. So when you do any protocol change, it sends a reboot command to the device. So we're going to wait for our green light to lock on a signal again. The lights were just indicating a reboot. So if the reboot doesn't happen, you can unplug the device and plug it back in, and it will automatically reboot. So we're going to wait for the green signal light to lock. To pair the MyCar device, make sure the device is plugged in and the protocol is set to the Fortin protocol. Remove the 4-pin plug from our already paired device. We're going to hold the program button down and plug in the 4-pin plug. When we do this, the lights are going to begin to cycle. We want to release when we have a solid blue and a solid red LED lit. If we release on any other color, unplug the module and repeat the procedure. With the blue and the red LEDs both lit, we're going to press and hold the button down. Both lights will turn off. We're going to keep the button down until they turn back on. When they turn back on, we're going to release the button. Now we're going to place the key in the ignition and turn the ignition to the run position. What you want to look for is you want to look for the blue and the red light to blink one time. When we put the key in and turn it to run, the yellow is going to come on, and then you watch, and it's only going to happen once. It's going to be kind of quick. The blue and the red light will turn off and back on. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn the key on. And you've seen the yellow light come on, the blue and the red turned off and turned back on. That's an indication that the device accepted the MyCar unit. We're outside the vehicle with the MyCar app up and running. We're going to go ahead and we're going to send a lock command to our vehicle. Okay, we're going to send an unlock command to our vehicle. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start the vehicle. We're going to shut the engine off. Before we do that, take a look at the indications on the screen. It's showing that our doors are unlocked. Our runtime indicator, that's a countdown timer. It's how much runtime we have left. Signal strength, battery voltage. Signal strength and battery voltage right here. We're going to shut the engine off. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and use our GPS locator to locate the device, or the vehicle, I should say. And that's exactly where the vehicle is right now. We're going to go ahead and go back to the MyCar screen. So I pulled the 4 screws, Torx screws, out of the bezel for the gauge cluster, and the bottom is held on by 2 clips. Use the plastic tool, pop the clips out. A good spot for this MyCar is to put, the side marked facing down, just like that, facing down, and using a 2-sided tape or Velcro to stick it right here, and then put the cluster bezel back on. Ran the wire down around the outside, so when we put it back together you won't see the wire. It goes behind the cluster right here. Here is the device zip-up location. Keep in mind, if you install the MyCar, you always retain the ability to start the vehicle using the 3-lock starting method. When testing remote starting, make sure all the doors in the hood to the vehicle are closed. Activate remote starting. With the engine running, unlock the doors with the remote or the MyCar app. Enter the vehicle. Do not press the brake pedal. Place the key in the ignition, turn the ignition to the run position. Now you will press the brake pedal. The remote starter will turn off. The vehicle will continue to run on the key. Failure to have the doors closed and locked before remote starting will result in the engine shutting off when you put the key to run and press the brake pedal.